Okay. I've been here trying to figure out this thing, but I hope I'm successful and I hope I'm coming to you live and loud enough so that you can hear me. Greetings. Welcome to another episode of the program, Let's Talk Missions. Welcome to Replica Church. Welcome to God's family. Where we say, because you matter to God. That's the reason why we do all that we do. It's because you matter, everybody else matters to God. Um, Welcome to the 8th of December 2021. Um, it is another season of Advent. It is another period where Christmas is in the air. Here in the city of Lancaster, it has not begun to snow yet, but we're anticipating it's going to start snowing, and hopefully we enjoy it. And to some extent, I'd say. So snow is a beautiful thing. It's oh my goodness, I hope this is working. I just heard power off. Maybe I should. Okay, I will continue. If I hope that you can hear me. And I'm not going to seek to even keep anyone today. I just want to talk about two things. The reason for the season is here, and the other thing on my mind is the young and the old. Who needs who? I've just been thinking about this idea recently, and it amuses me to just think about the different reasons why the young would need the old, or why the old would need the young, or if one group can do without the other. It's a tussle in my mind, and I'm hoping that somehow maybe I'll get to share it today if I get to that point. But my main thrust for today is to talk about, to just, remind you and I that the main reason for why we celebrate these seasons, even though in some parts of the world, I must take note, do not identify or do not, recognize the reason for the season. Happy holidays is what is said here to encompass all the people who do not celebrate Christmas for the reason why everybody else does. Some people just are captured into the season, the winter, the lights. Everywhere you go, there are decorations everywhere, houses. There are, a lot of things are going on that is so beautiful. And there are sales. We just finished Black Friday here in the US, and Cyber Monday, I believe. And a lot of things that go on to tell you that something is happening. Although there is a lot that we can say about the root or the history or the origin of this event, but we I don't think we need to. This is not the time to go into that argument of the history of how this came about. Or what I'm just trying to point out here is that it is a time when people are just sucked into the season. They're sucked into the feel, the songs, the music, the dramas, and all that is happening within the time. You just cannot. You will not be able to resist it. It's a really beautiful time of the year. Um, so many people celebrate for some reason. I remember when I first came to the US, and one of my professors, my very good professors, my grandpa, who looked at me and said, "It seems you came here for the weather." And because I was shivering, I was cold, but yet I enjoyed. I was hoping and longing for the snow because I've always heard it's white as snow, but I've not seen it before. So, but then it's after a while, I think after a couple of winters, and I'm like, I think I'm over impressed with the snow. I would like a break. So the whole season draws people in. The whole season makes people want to just. It attracts you in. It brings you in. So different people celebrate. Remember this period for a different reason, but uh, for us as missionaries, for me as a missionary reflecting on this thing, and for you who are listening, who I hope, who I believe, who I'm hopeful that you have some idea about what mission is. You're thinking about missions. You some way somehow you're related to missions. I feel need to bring to the forefront the reason for the season in the first place. The reason for all that we are celebrating is Christ. Christ is the foundation. Christ is the base. Christ is Christ is the what other word can I use beyond foundation? I'm trying to find another word to describe what Christ is to Christmas or to this celebration. Like I said, there might be arguments and debates about the history, about the roots, about the season, how the season came about. I am not going into that at this moment. I am, however, looking at the reason why this is being celebrated in Christian traditions in all over the world. For some people celebrate Christmas in January, you know, it depends on the time and a lot of that. So I don't want to really go into that. I just want us to look at whatever time you celebrate it, it is a time to remember that Galatians will say, at the appointed time, at the right time, at the best time, God sent his son. That is the reason. It is because someone special who is able to carry upon himself the weight of the sins of everyone upon himself is the reason why we celebrate. That is the time when this person came and lived. So if you have other reasons, it's good, but don't miss out on this very important one. You see, it is very easy to get sucked in based on the the commerce that is going on, the charades, the parades, the lights, the dazzling things that are going on, and miss out on the main thing that is actually the core of Christmas. I've doubt, of the season, because Advent and Christmas. So I've been thinking about, why would God wait until that time for him to, excuse my use of the pronoun him, but if you're not comfortable with that, I'm really sorry. Uh, that's how I'm brought up, and it takes time to really adjust. So why would God wait until that time for him to send his best? We've talked about John 3:16 being a very hefty verse, which has often been taken for granted. God loved the world so much that he gave his very best. His very, very best. Why would God wait until that time? I mean, immediately after Adam and Eve died, there was a sacrifice for the skin to be provided for them to cover their nakedness. Did I say died? Immediately after Adam and Eve, well, died spiritually, but when they fell, God provided for them clothing, animals, to cover their nakedness, animal skin to cover their nakedness, because they used leaf. They were thinking in the temporary term. God was thinking in the long term, and then an animal's blood had to be shed for that skin to be gotten. So that was not enough. During the time of Noah, it wasn't enough. It came to Abraham, it wasn't enough. It came to David, it was not enough. And God, it just kept on the silent period, and until that time, before somebody appeared and said, I am the way, the truth, and the light. No one goes to the Father except through me. I'm convinced that timing is very, very important. Timing is very significant in the plan of God. Timing is, God's timing is and differs completely from our timing. God's timing and my timing can never be the same. I might be fortunate enough to see or to witness or to experience to some level my plans come to pass the way I hope it would, because somehow it coincides with God's timing. But it does not in any way mean that it is my timing that determines what happens. It's very important that we plan, but ultimately, God scheduled his thing, built a case enough to reference what God wants to do, to start from all of these years, thousands of years, and then at the right time, it happened. Jesus was born. This is not a time for Christmas lesson. It is not a time to tell you about the story of the manger and all of that. There are hundreds of songs that have been written about this period. However, the entirety of all of that comes to show you and I that God's calculation always works out for the best. And that is why now that you and I who are alive and watching this or might watch it down the years need to remember that the whole reason for this season of decoration, for this season of lights, for this season of reflection, for this season of sales and season of holiday, like some would say happy holidays, for this season of snow, this entire season is to remember that the heart of God's mission was made manifest 2000 plus years ago in the person of Jesus Christ. Now, seeking to be like Jesus is not a day's job. Seeking to be like Jesus is not a New Year resolution. Seeking to be like Jesus is not something that we do and dump. Seeking to be like Jesus is a continuous effort. Now, seeking to be like Jesus is, if anyone has been able to replicate it, would be, if anyone claims to be able to have replicated exactly the life of Jesus, would be impossible. Yet, that is what that is what it means. That is what it takes. That is what it entails to continue to live this life of serving as God's children. We are called God's children because we've been kind of adopted or grafted in to the kingdom, into the plans of God. And Jesus being the firstborn, Jesus being our elder brother, Jesus being our father, Jesus being our mentor, Jesus being our coach, and the Holy Spirit teaching us to be like him is the goal of the season. It's good to wear good clothes. I'm thinking I might get myself a new pair of shoes or something. But it is a beautiful thing to enjoy the season, enjoy the weather, enjoy friends, enjoy family around, be around people you love. But do so, or even it's a beautiful thing to give out hand, because this is the time where some people extend hands to other people. There are many people who are trying to get a place to sleep during this cold season. Is a lot of people are committed. Organizations, NGOs, non-for-profit organizations are reaching out with blankets to homeless people, with meals to people who cannot be able to afford it, with love, with care. There are lots of effort that have been done in this season. Whatever it is that you are able to do in remembrance of this season, proceed with joy in your heart, doing it for the purpose or with the motive of doing it for the reason for the season. I think that's what I have to say about that. So as we continue to enjoy the season, do not forget, always remember the reason for this season is Jesus. So I said I wasn't going to keep people, I wasn't going to hold you down. Now the issue of the old versus the young, it's really an exciting thing. It intrigues me to just think about it. Do people, is it even an issue that people worry about? Does it cause, are there things like generational conflicts between people? Do people have this, is it everywhere, or am I just thinking about it, having older people not like the younger, or like the younger so much, or have their own conflict, and the younger people not like the older so much. It bothers me because I think this has a bearing into the way even we do ministry as, missionaries in our families, in the church, different settings, para-church organizations. Um, it's it makes me wonder. And maybe I'll leave this for next week. I'll leave this for when next week come on. Let's talk missions, so that we can have something to talk about for next week and not finish everything this week. So, I will let you be, but I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate your contributions. I appreciate your attention. My desire and prayer for you in this season is that as you continue to um, enjoy the season, if you're trying to round up school, if you're traveling, or if you're planning something exciting for the season, remember the reason for the season is Jesus, and ensure that you include Jesus into all that you do, and trust that Jesus is going to be able to help you to accomplish that which you're doing. So please continue to do your best to enjoy the season. Do your best to just lavish and let God take control of the season. I pray for health for you. I pray for success for you in your plans. I pray for prosperity for you in your health. I pray in your work that you will find peace and contentment, that you will find desire to pursue, that you will be bold and confident to strike, or to pursue after what you have been convinced to be your calling. Thank you for your attentiveness. I pray God's blessings upon you. Remember, you matter to God. Let nothing convince you otherwise. God's blessings, and have a good day.